Krill. Oh, look, Krill!
Nerd! D, wait for it. Delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, I finished the latest episode of the Orville, and I just want to say real quick, this episode was so thrilling and so exhilarating. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much because, so I got home last night from work, and I work late and everything. And so I got home, and I was like, oh, it's on here. Maybe I'll just watch like the first 5 minutes or like the first half or whatever, and then I'll go to bed because I want to stay up late. And and at one point I was like, it was so thrilling that I was just like, I think Seth MacFarlane's going to kill off his main character, him. I was like, I have to find out. And then I just kept watching, and it was so good. I love this show. It makes me so happy. It's so good, and it's so well written, and there's just a lot of stuff that's in it that I really, really like a lot. And we saw the return of a character from the past in this episode, and I just really I really like the show, and I really liked this episode. This episode was very good. I really enjoyed it, which is rare for me, because most of the time I just get disappointed with sci-fi shows, but this one's really good. I think Seth MacFarlane gets it. And I wish New Trek was like this. I really do. Like the Strange New Worlds is okay, but not compared to this. This show is awesome. It's so good. It's like the best and everything. All right. So now that I've done gushing a little bit, I'm going to get into this breakdown and everything, so that way we can, get on with our days and everything. But before I get started on the breakdown, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now that that's finished, let's get started on this breakdown. So it starts on Krill. Every time I say Krill, I think of that scene from what's it called? Finding Nemo, when they're like, oh look, Krill, run away. So So it starts off on Krill, and we see Tala. And if you remember, now she is from season 2. I don't remember what episode. Here she is as a Krill, run away. And then here she is in human form. So you might remember her here. I can't remember why she was on the ship, but she had transformed herself into a human so she could spy on him and everything. And then she told the story about her brother and how he was killed and everything. And he mentions it later on, but he lets her go and everything because he had a little thing with her and everything. Oh, and he had a thing with her. Let me just tell you that right now. She was a Krill and everything. But this was her, and it was in season 2. I'm trying to remember what episode. I didn't rewatch the seasons before this. I should have, but I didn't have time. I did like this episode, by the way. It was very good because remember they had pretended to be Krill at one time and went and stole the what's their Bible called? I can't remember, the word of Avis and everything. So that's her as a human. So here she is, and she's giving a speech. She's standing in this big crowd and everything. And she says, and I wrote it all down, so I'm going to go through this one. I didn't write down all the speeches because I was like, Tala can fucking talk. Okay. She's got the gift of gab and everything. So she goes, I was born in a time of dreams. We were pure in spirit and devout in our beliefs. The blessings of Avis were showered upon us and brought our greatest hopes to life. But now we face a looming nightmare. We brought this nightmare upon ourselves when we placed our fate in the hands. We placed our fate in the hands of a false prophet. Supreme Chancellor Corin has turned his back on everything we held sacred. At this very moment, he consorts with our enemies 1,000 light years away, negotiating a treaty with the Planetary Union, a treaty that will imperil our civilization. The Chancellor would have you believe that this treaty protects us, but in truth, believe. But in truth, it weakens us. It demands we surrender our divine right to expand our territories. It forces us to protect. Hold on. Shoot, I lost my place. It forces us to protect other worlds at the risk of our own, to spill our blood, to expand our resources for the. Oh crap! I got ahead of the things. To expand. Sorry. To expand our resources for their benefit. If this treaty is ratified, what will they demand next? More of their ships in our space? Their politicians interfering in our affairs? Just imagine crowds cheering and everything. Our affairs, the inevitable erosion of our ideals and our identities. Where will it end? If you go home to your children, will you tell them that you chose to destroy our future? I love how she brings up the children. For the children. Or will you tell them you have reclaimed our dreams and placed your trust in the word of Avis? A word that declares that Krill comes first. Place your faith in me as your Supreme Chancellor, and I will end this madness. And those responsible will pay for their treason. Everything. Okay. So they're cheering for it and everything. So she's got a little following and everything. So then we hop over to Earth. Yay, my favorite. And we get this little alien girl in the Annie wig. And I'm all like, this kind of like put me off just a tiny, tiny bit. Cause I was all like, I'm all like, that's cultural appropriation. Just so you know, alien species. She's like the strong ones too. Cause she's got the ears and everything. But anyway, so then she's singing, tomorrow. That's the president. I didn't really get a good picture of him, but you'll see him later. But and there's Ted Danson. I love it. And then these guys are just like, what the hell's going on here? and they're like, you get all these little aliens and everything. And I'm all like, okay, well, this is fun. Daddy Warbucks, is fun. Anyways, that little alien right there is kind of creepy. So then they're all like, they're clapping because they're all like, yeah, good job and everything. So then later at dinner, they're talking about how with Annie, they're talking about how the sun for them is a time of peril and like bad times. And they're like, they're acting like this Annie thing. It's like a real story, like a depiction of our past, everything. He's like, how long did you go through this perilous time? And she's like, the Great Depression, we went through about a decade and everything. So then they sit there and talking about how, the treaty and everything. And this guy right here, who looks very much like a dick, and he kind of is. He's all like, you need our help. And they're like, all right, bud, like, let's calm it down. Oh, look, there's Ted Danson again. And then what is this actor's name? He was on Babylon 5. I love him. He's so good. I love Babylon 5. I'm trying to remember his name. Hold on. I'm looking it up right now because I should have had the cast list up, but I had the speech up and everything. Way to be prepared, dummy. But yeah, no. So he's the president of the Federation of the. Gosh, I want to call him the Federation, but it's the Union. And so they're just basically sitting here talking about how they are. I'm so sorry. I meant to be prepared, but I failed you guys. I failed you so hard. Okay, so, and I don't remember if we've seen this species before, but if we have, I do not remember him. So he's all like, oh, it's Bruce Balaksethoth. I don't remember. I don't know how to say his last name, but yeah, he's great. So yeah, he's in a lot of other sci-fi stuff, but he's great. Oh, anyway, so he's the president. So they're sitting there talking, and they're talking about how they would like to ratify the treaty on their capital city of their home planet, Krill, when all said and after the election. And they're like really positive about the election, that this guy Corrin is going to win the election and everything. So then they cheer, and then they hop over to the crew of the Orville, and they're doing a bar crawl. except for they're doing it like through time. And he's like, oh, hey, I remember when you had a mustache? And she's like, I thought your people couldn't grow facial hair. And he's like, the doctor helped synthesize that. So he's all like, hey, good, congratulations on your promotion. And she's like, yeah, now I don't have to call you sir anymore. And he's like, yeah, you could call me something else, you know, you can call me daddy, call me Big Papa and everything. I love Isaac comes in with a fake mustache and a cowboy hat. And then they get a call from the union, and it's the admiral. And he's all like, Admiral Halsey, which is just an anagram for Ashley. Anyways, so he's all like, hey, so we're gonna have you guys transport us to Krill when he wins and we sign the treaty. And they're like, this is exciting. And they're like, this is a good day. This is a good day. So then they get there, they have their little firing squad here. And they get off and they're like, your firing squad's not needed, but your team is very impressive and everything. And so they're like, is there a problem and everything? So they show them the videos of Tala. And they're like, as of right now, she's not an overwhelmingly huge threat, but we're keeping an eye on it because, we don't want any problems and everything. And he's kind of upset because, he let her go and he had a little something. Some gave her the old in, out, if you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, because I'm telling you. Anyways, so then he's watching videos of the Supreme Chancellor being a dick, and he's not giving funds to certain things. And then she comes in and he's like, I owe you an apology and I'm really sorry. And she's like, what are you sorry for? And he's like, I had Tala and I let her go because he saw the best in her. He saw, what could be. Sorry, I need a little libation. And then so he's all like, oh, I can't remember what else he says here. Oh, but they fake their news and everything. They that speech they just computer generated it and it's fake. So then people get all mad at him. I'm all like, man, that's where we're headed, though. I tell you right now, there's some stuff I'm just like, man, we gotta stop this nonsense. But anyways, so and she's all like, you can't beat yourself up over that. You wanted to see the good in her, and it just didn't work because she's a piece of shit. Anyways, so they're getting ready to go to Krill, and they warp there, and they're there. They don't call it warp though, and they get escorted by 3 big cruisers, and then some fighters escort the shuttle down to the planet. And she's all like, hey, I'm gonna throw some pretty fast moves at you. Think you can handle it and everything? He's like, I can handle it, little girl. And he's like, you want me to take over? And he's like, I'm very observant. I knew you guys were drunk the other night when I called you. And he's like, take the helm, sir. So it's a thick cloud of whatever around Krill. So when they go in, it's pretty hardcore, but they make it. And the city looks nice. It looks very futuristic, very like Blade Runner 2049 or whatever that movie is. And it's crap. Anyways, but they get there and they're flying through the city and they land on this little tower of, Sauron and everything. And but with lights, look at that. Although the tower of Sauron had maybe not. Anyways, that's Morgoth, whatever, that had the green lights. Anyways, okay. Sorry, got on a tangent. Sorry if you hear my children, they're playing. They're full of beans. Anyways, so she's like, I'll stay here, sir. I'll see you in a little bit. And then he's like, history is about to be made. You want to come along and see it? And she's like, yeah, I do. So they go through here and they see, this is the statue of Avis, their deity. And he looks scary. Like he looks like a Krill, but like a really mean Krill. And I'm all like, I don't know. So, and they're like, she's like, who's that? And he's like, that's their deity, Krill, or not Krill, Avis, sorry. And it's a nice statue. I like this whole thing going on here. Anyways, so they're at the Supreme. I'm sorry, I paused there. I was looking something up so I could say it later. Anyways, so they're all like, yes, well, so we have this stuff for you, this like wine. They're like, this is delicious. And then he's like, I will have some sent to your ship and everything. So he's like, it's looking good right now. So they go out on the balcony and they're looking at their city. He's like, do your impending win and everything. And they're like, what's that over there? And he's like, that's the market. The best vendors in all the planet come to that market. And so then they get a little thing, and it's very close. And then he loses, which we all saw that coming, right? And the clerics, they pronounce Tala the winner, and he's like, this is ridiculous, I want to recount. Then these soldiers come in, they're like, you're under arrest. He's like, for what? And he's like, treason. And he's like, what? And he's like, take him. And he's like, you're stupid. And then they punch the president because he's like, excuse me, what's going on here? And then they take them captive. They put him in the brig. And then up in space, the captain of one of the ships is all like, you will surrender or we will kill you. This is the last warning. I'm like, the last, it's the first. And so they put into effect Project 21. Maybe it's Project Green 21. I don't remember. Project 21. Now, I just want to say, as soon as she said Project 21 and he left, I knew exactly what was going to happen. It didn't exactly happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but I thought as soon as we'll get to it, but everything. So they enact that one. He's like, they fire on the thing to get out of their tractor beam. Tractor beam, mute, sucked me right in. And then they start fighting. And it's very cool. I didn't get too many stills of it because I'm all like, what am I going to do? Get a stills of a fight scene. It's you don't really get the fight scene. You got to watch it. So then Tala comes out and she addresses the crowd. Now I didn't write down what she said in this one because first, like I said before, her speeches are pretty long-winded. I'm like, yo, Tala, you want to wrap things up, honeybee? Because I ain't got time for this. I got shit to do. Like, get to bed. Although I'm telling you right now, we're getting to the part where I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I think Captain Mercer might die. I literally was all like, this is so good. This is going to be good. I tell you what. So she talks about how he's a traitor to him and he's going to pay. And then she stabs him for his treason. She's like, you want to beg? And he's like, he's like, and everything. So she stabs him. He's dead now. And she's like, and the woes who helped him will pay, meaning the Earthers. So then he's like, take me to your leader and everything. You can't hold us here. Do you know who my father is? And it's like, okay, Admiral Halsey, calm down. And she's all like, do they not see that if they don't join with us, what are the robots called? Shoot, I'm blanking. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. If they don't, this is bad. They'll lose. We need each other to defeat them. And he's like, yeah, I know, and everything. So he's like, so you come with us and everything. So he goes and there's Tala. She's like, it's so good to see you again, former lover. And he's like, what are you doing and everything? And she's like, you will weaken us. And he's like, listen, we cannot fight on both fronts. We cannot fight each other. And oh my goodness, I cannot think. I keep wanting to say Talarites, but that's not what it is. I can't think. It starts. Oh, what are they called? Okay, well, while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna look it up real quick. But anyway, so they're sitting here and they're fighting. So they're talking everything, and she's all like, I wanted to see you one last time. He's like, what are you doing? And everything. And I can't think right now. I'm sorry, you guys, what he says. But long story short, she's all like, I don't need to see you anymore. Yeah. So she sends him away and she's like, it was good to see you one last time. You are Kalon, that's what they're called. She's like, what do you people call this? Closure. And I'm all like, oh, please. So then they take him out in the hallway and he's like, put this on. So he puts on this cloak. Meanwhile, the Orville is hanging out behind this asteroid and she gets a call from Tala and she's like, Tala, give us our people back or we're going to come get him. And she's all like, come at me, bitch. And she's like, oh, I'm coming at you, hooker face. I'm coming at you, leather face. And so they contact Ted Danson. I can't. His admiral name. I don't know what it is, but from now on, he's just Ted Danson because they should get Whoopi in here. Hey, I'm Whoopi. I'm married to Ted Danson. Not anymore though. Jews aren't people. Anyway, so they're basically like, what are we gonna do? He tells them that there's more ships coming to help him out. The first wave of ships is coming to help him out, and they're like, we are going to get our people back. And so back on Krill, they're taking him through the market. And this guy's all like, I can't remember what he calls it, but he's like fresh meat. And they're like, go away. And he's like, maybe we should just buy some meat. And then these guys pop up out of nowhere and shoot these two guards guys. And they're like, come with us. So they go to this little house and everything, and you see this little girl, and you can obviously tell that she's half human. And this woman's all like, that's your daughter. And he's like, what? And he's like, Tala put her here to hide her away so nobody would know that she had a daughter that was half human. And I've been taking care of her this whole time, but she's a remarkable little girl and everything. And he's like, what? And she's like, does she know that I'm her dad? And they're like, no. And it's probably best that she doesn't know. And he's like, but you should go talk to her. And so he sits down and he's like, how are you? Shit, I don't remember the little girl's name, but it means fresh rain or something like that. Hold on, I'm looking at it so I can tell you guys what her name is, because I have the Jesus. Of course they don't. Anyway, so he's talking to his daughter. Oh, Anaya. And everything. Cute little girl. Well, in the face, her head looks, weird, but whatever. And he's talking like, are you happy? And she's like, yeah, I have a house, I have my own bedroom, and I have so many toys. And I'm like, oh, that's such like a child to say. And she's all like, and so these people believe that the treaty is a good thing, and they believe that she's hiding away her daughter, and she doesn't see her, and she thinks that this is that if they release the identity of this child, that it will force Tala to say, hey, this is good, we should join the union, yada yada yada. And he's all like, I'll try to help, but I can't promise anything. And I'm all like, oh, how crazy that he just found out he had a kid and he's got to leave her. So then all the ships show up and everything, and they're like, all right, let's go get this. Let's go get our people back, guys. Let's go do this. Let's go show them who's boss. Let's give him a little smacky smack. So he sees Tala, and she's like, yeah, because she was gonna set him free. Like they were gonna take him back to the shuttle. And that part, when they were taking him through the market, I'll just go back to this. When they were taking him through the market, I was just like, oh my God, I think Seth MacFarlane is gonna kill off his own character. What's going on here? I was like, oh my God, that was the moment I was just like, oh my God, I am not going to bed right now. I have to find out what happens. Like I have to see this through this episode and everything. So good. So she's like, you came back and everything. He's like, yeah, I know about Anaya. And she's like, what? And he's all like, why? He's like, why would you keep that from me? And why wouldn't you see your own daughter? And she's like, because I want our world to be pure. She's not pure and everything. And he's like, why would you keep her around? He's like, do you know what happens to people that get rid of their children, AKA abortion? Which I was like, oh, they're tackling this. Now, they're doing this the way old Trek used to do political stuff and, stuff like this. They're mentioning it, they're talking about it, but doing it very like undertone wise, so that way you as the viewer can go, hey, what are they talking about here? Let me go look it up. I mean, back when I was a kid, they didn't have the internet like they do now. It was very wonky, but they made you go, okay, what's going on here? So then she brings him to this little thing, and she's all like, this is what we do to people that abort their children. So he's like, these are the people they killed off their child or whatever. And she's like, we bring them here, and then we take their DNA scan, and then it creates a child for them, and then they have to meet their child that they got rid of. I was like, oh shit. Now this kid pops up, he's like, are you my mother? And her mother's like, oh. And he's like, why did you? He's like, I'm sorry you sent me away. I would have loved you. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, the Krill are fucking hardcore. I was like, this is some shit right here. I was like, ow, fucking like, talk about fucking trauma. I was like, man, the Krill are hard. They don't fuck around with shit. They are hardcore. And I was like, this kid is just like, Papa, Mama. And like, she's all like heartbroken. Like, look at her face. Like him, I can't really tell, but her, she's all like, and I'm all like, how often do they have to do? They do this like once a week, have to go meet their non-existent child. I was like, this is some crazy shit. But at the same time, I just go, could that be helpful to some couples that have lost a child? When I was watching this, I was like, that's very interesting. On a serious note, me and my wife, we did lose a child, and it would have been nice to, see them as a fully a bigger person. So yeah, so then he is all like this is crazy and everything. She's all like, yeah, I'm not gonna save you again, bud. You're gonna die now. Sorry I got on a serious note there. I didn't mean to like bum you guys out. Anyways, so then back at the Capitol, like all these people come out and she gives her another little speech. She's like, it's time to kill the infidels that tried to take over our planet and get rid of our thoughts and dreams and all that crap. And then the president's all like, ah, shit, we're in the mix now. She's like, who will go first to face my blade and everything? And I'm all like, if it was me, I'd be like, him. So then they get back to Krill and they're just like, all right, guys, it's party time. Let's do this. So then she gets to the president. She's all like, and he's all like, Tala, you don't have to do this. She's like, but I think I do. And so, and she stabs the president. She's like, stabby stab time, president, blue face. Stabs him, and then these two Krill pop in, which this is Project 21. I wasn't called Project 21, something 21. And anyways, so they pop in, they throw these little bombs and these light bombs, and they go off and they start, they're like, and they get everybody out and everything, and they run to the shuttle, and they get in, and it's Dr. Finn and Lamar. And they're Krill, and I'm all like, and I knew that was gonna, as soon as they said Project 21 or whatever at the ship, I was like, oh, they're gonna change themselves into Krill, like they Gordon and the captain did, Mercer did in season 2 or 1, I can't remember which season it was. But if you watch the show, you remember they went and they scanned the book of Avis and everything so they could understand the Krill because they were fighting the Krill at the time. So then they go through and there's a battle going on up here. There's a chase going on through the city and everything. And I can't really through stills, I can't really show it to you. It's not as exciting through stills as it is watching it on screen. So they get to their shuttle and everything. And, up in space, they're all like, they're like, oh, the battle's going on. It's very cool, and I would say. And they get the shuttle back on the ship, and they're like, all right, everybody, we got the people. Let's get the hell out of here. And so they all blast off into space and everything, and they're back home. So back on Earth, they're sitting here, and the president's doing good. He's going to be fine, but they're discussing what's going to happen because now they've got a war on both fronts. They've got to fight the Kalons, and then now they got to fight the Krill. And it's like, what are we going to do? We don't know, but hopefully we can figure it out, kind of thing. So he's talking about his daughter, and she's like, she's like, I wish we'd have got that far. And he's like, yeah, me too, and everything. He's like, you know what? I only met her for a second and I miss her. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because listen, I have a daughter. Don't tell anybody, she's my favorite. And she's my princess. And I'll tell you right now, I love hanging out with that little nugget, both my nuggets, but me and my daughter, we're like she's so much like me that we're just like, we're like two peas in a pod. Like we just sit there and we just hang out and everything. And, yeah, so but I was like, I totally get this, Seth, Mercer. I was like, when I'm at work, I miss my daughter too, and everything. So, and then we see her playing, and it's a video. Oh, excuse me, sorry, it's early right now, so I'm drinking my coffee. And Tala is watching her daughter because she's never seen her before, and I'm like, how sad is that? You have to watch a video of your child. Like, just go see her. Like, come on, man. And that's where the episode ends. And I thought that this was very good. We had the whole, kind of like, Hitler speech type kind of thing. We had this xenophobic kind of thing going on and everything. They talk about how, fear mongering through politics. And it was, and again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to and I hate to compare it to Star Trek because I hate comparing stuff, but we have to compare it and everything because I wish Star Trek, New Trek did it the way the Orville does when it comes to politics and social issues and stuff like that in the real world, because they are tackling this stuff in a way that it doesn't make me feel like you're shoving politics down my throat, but it makes me think, it makes me go, I wonder what's going on here. And I just, and I wish New Trek would do that because I really, I just miss that kind of stuff. But this show, like I said, and this episode, this made me feel so good about like watching sci-fi and watching all this stuff. Like it had everything that I wanted and everything I needed. Like I'm telling you right now, I like literally was just like, I'm so tired and everything. And I was watching that episode, I was like, well, this episode is really good. And then I was like, oh my God, I think they're gonna kill off Captain Mercer. I was like, and then like they didn't. I was like, I have to finish this now. I'm finished. This is, yeah, I'm totally watching this sucker. And then I stayed up so late. I'm so tired right now. Some work is gonna suck, but it's fine. It's like whatever. It's so worth it. So worth it every minute. But yeah, so that is my breakdown and review of this episode, you guys. It's so good. I loved this episode. If it's as good as this for the rest of the season, I mean, it's just like whatever. I didn't see who wrote this episode, but kudos to you. I'm gonna look it up right now while we're chit-chatting. But kudos to you, because this was just so good. The writers were Seth MacFarlane, Brandon Braga, Andre Bormanis. I don't know how you say all those, but good job, you guys. This episode it's so far, it's my favorite episode of the season. It was so good. Loved it. Can't say enough things about it. All right, I'm done licking this show's taint. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you happy they brought back Tala and everything with that whole, I love when they bring back characters that didn't die. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think they're going to figure out this whole Krill thing? Are you like me? Every time they said Krill, I was just like, run away and everything. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go to the like button, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next Orville breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.